Oh, this was a nightmare, shooting this, because Leo couldn't stop laughing, and we had to reshoot this about 4 times.
Titanic is remembered not only as a cinematic masterpiece, but also for the intense dynamic between its 2 leads. Have you ever wondered what it was really like behind the scenes, especially between Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio? While their on-screen romance captivated millions, the real story on set was far more complex and revealing. In fact, Kate recently shared surprising details about Leonardo's behavior during filming that challenge everything fans think they know. From unexpected moments to unseen tensions, these insights shed new light on the making of one of Hollywood's most iconic movies. Initial impressions on set. When Kate Winslet first arrived on the Titanic set, she quickly realized that this would be no ordinary film experience. Leonardo DiCaprio, already gaining attention as a young star, carried a quiet intensity that both intrigued and unsettled those around him. Kate recalls that Leonardo seemed deeply focused, almost guarded, which contrasted with her own more open and outgoing demeanor. Their initial interactions were polite, yet marked by a subtle tension, as if both were sizing each other up in a high-pressure environment. This cautious energy, rather than immediate friendship, set the tone for their early working relationship. Leonardo's behavior wasn't overtly friendly or distant. It hovered somewhere in between, characterized by an unwavering professionalism that left little room for casual warmth. He seemed intent on immersing himself fully in his role, often retreating into moments of solitude between takes. Kate has mentioned that it took her time to break through that exterior, which was perhaps shaped by the enormous pressure on a project of this scale. On such a sprawling set, with thousands of extras and endless details, personal connections could easily be overshadowed by the weight of the production. Interestingly, despite their reserved beginnings, the 2 actors shared an unspoken understanding of the immense responsibility they carried as leads. Early rehearsals and readings revealed their mutual commitment to bringing Jack and Rose to life authentically, even if their personalities were initially at odds. Leonardo's introspective nature contrasted with Kate's more impulsive spirit, creating a dynamic that at first seemed fragile but hinted at something deeper developing. This nuanced start was far from the instant chemistry the world would later see on screen. Yet, behind closed doors, Kate recalls sensing a certain vulnerability in Leonardo that only emerged in rare, fleeting moments. When the cameras stopped rolling, she witnessed glimpses of a young actor grappling with the scale of fame looming over him. These private moments hinted at a complexity beneath his calm exterior, adding layers to the man she was working with but hadn't fully understood yet. This delicate balance of strength and sensitivity became a defining feature of their early interactions. Leonardo demonstrated extreme dedication to his work because he displayed his complete focus on every detail of his job. He showed his dedication to his work through his active discussions with directors and crew members about both scenes and character motives. His need for exactness made him seem either highly focused or socially isolated, which proved his commitment to his work. The different ways she prepared for her roles made these moments a discovery for Kate, who approached acting through her own unique method. The 2 performers maintained an unvoiced tension because they needed to avoid dominating each other. The Titanic set functioned as a miniature representation of achievement because it contained skilled people who faced the risk of making errors that would destroy their careers. The early relationship between them became more complicated because of their competitive behavior, which maintained professional boundaries but introduced hidden rivalry. Both people maintained their emotional distance from each other, which created a subtle sense of unrest. The shared story between the actors created an awareness of their different acting styles, which developed into a better understanding of each other. The way they interacted with each other became more complex because they worked together and had misunderstandings. Leonardo started to demonstrate his personality through specific instances, while Kate demonstrated her energetic nature through restricted times, which they used to create believable characters. The process of building trust started through the gradual movement from first impressions to deeper understanding. The demanding circumstances of filming would only deepen the complexity of their connection, revealing new facets of Leonardo's character as they pushed each other through the grueling production ahead. Filming challenges and pressure. The shooting of Titanic was famously arduous, and this relentless pressure played a critical role in shaping the dynamic between Kate and Leonardo. Days often stretched into long nights, with the cast facing difficult weather conditions, physically draining scenes, and the monumental task of recreating an iconic tragedy. For Leonardo, who was still navigating newfound fame, these challenges amplified the intensity of his focus and sometimes his mood. Kate recalls moments on set when the exhaustion was palpable, yet every actor remained committed to pushing through. One of the most taxing aspects was filming the water scenes, which involved frigid temperatures and complex stunts. Kate and Leonardo had to spend extensive time submerged, often shivering and battling the elements while delivering emotionally charged performances. The physical hardship fostered a sense of camaraderie, but also heightened stress, as each took responsibility for maintaining professionalism amid difficult conditions. Leonardo's relentless dedication was evident here. He consistently prioritized the scene's authenticity above all else. In addition to the physical demands, there was immense pressure from the film's directors and producers to deliver perfection. James Cameron's exacting standards left little room for error, requiring multiple takes and continuous adjustments. Leonardo, known for his strong work ethic, absorbed this pressure deeply, sometimes retreating into silence to recalibrate. Kate noticed that this intensity occasionally made him seem distant, but she recognized it as part of his method of coping with the high stakes. This self-imposed rigor was a double-edged sword, fueling his performance but also adding strain. The emotional weight of the story itself also contributed to the strain on set. Portraying characters caught in a devastating disaster demanded vulnerability and stamina. Both actors had to access raw emotions repeatedly under artificial and exhausting circumstances. Leonardo was particularly known for his ability to use those pressures to deepen his portrayal of Jack. But it also meant he sometimes became introspective or withdrawn between scenes. Kate found that these moments of intensity spoke to the seriousness with which he approached his craft. The Titanic production needed to hire numerous extras and construct sizable sets because of its massive scale, which required detailed planning to execute each scene. The actors faced challenges because the environment created overwhelming conditions, which contained multiple interruptions. Leonardo used complete character immersion as his method to block out disturbances and maintain his character's mental state. Kate used her observations to demonstrate how these coping methods enabled him to manage the film's complex operational demands. Under pressure to achieve perfect performances, Leonardo and Kate established subtle support systems which enabled them to help each other without making direct requests. They maintained a shared understanding about the film's difficulties, which led them to exchange quiet support during their most difficult work periods. The two individuals used empathetic understanding to balance their fast-paced work schedule, although their personalities sometimes created conflicts. Kate understood that Leonardo handled stressful situations in a manner different from her approach, yet they both maintained mutual respect for each other's personal boundaries. The process of promoting Titanic, while the movie production continued, created additional obstacles to overcome. Leonardo became a public figure when his rising popularity forced him to join the growing media attention for the movie. His media responsibilities and filming duties created increased pressure, which made him work more intensely. Yet this reduced his time for social interactions on set. Kate describes how the pressure from two different sources affected Leonardo because she found his new personality to be interesting, yet difficult to understand. His rising popularity brought him both advantages and additional responsibilities. Leonardo's emerging stardom added a complicated dimension to the already intense environment, influencing how he navigated both the pressures of performance and his evolving public image. Professionalism amidst fame. At the time of Titanic's production, Leonardo DiCaprio was transitioning from a promising young actor to an international superstar, and that shift profoundly influenced his behavior on set. Despite the mounting fame, Leonardo maintained a rigorous professionalism, often arriving early, meticulously preparing for scenes, and fully immersing himself in his role. Kate Winslet has acknowledged his seriousness as an artist, noting how deeply committed he was to doing justice to the character of Jack Dawson, regardless of the external distractions around him. The burgeoning media frenzy surrounding Leonardo added complexity to his professionalism. Paparazzi and fans began flocking to the set, and the pressure to maintain a carefully curated public image was intense. Yet, behind the cameras, Leonardo tried to shield the work environment from this intrusion, focusing on craft rather than celebrity. Kate recalls how he could sometimes seem aloof, but it was a conscious choice to keep the acting process separate from the hype, highlighting a maturity beyond his years. Leonardo's dedication sometimes manifested as perfectionism, holding himself and others to high standards. This occasionally led to tensions with cast and crew when he pushed for multiple takes or offered detailed feedback. However, these moments stemmed from a desire to deliver authenticity, not egotism. Kate has mentioned that while Leonardo's intensity could be challenging, it also elevated the performances and underscored his professionalism amidst the overwhelming public attention. Interestingly, Leonardo's rising fame did not lead him to lean on privileges or indulgence on set. Instead, he remained approachable and engaged, often building rapport quietly without drawing attention to himself. Kate noted that while Leonardo was highly aware of the spotlight, he focused most of his energy on the work itself, sometimes at the expense of social interactions. This balance of fame and focus was unusual for such a young actor thrust into an enormous production. The pressure of being a global icon while working as a dedicated actor created challenges that Leonardo handled with exceptional composure. Kate observed situations where he stepped back from social contact to keep his artistic work safe from outside disturbances. He used this approach to establish distance from his co-workers, yet he needed to stay focused on his work while outside noise created disturbances. He maintained his performance standards through the demanding work period because he could separate different tasks into distinct parts. Leonardo established his reputation as a professional actor through his work on Titanic, which created an artistic work environment that set the standard for all production activities. Crew members often spoke of his respectful demeanor and preparedness, which in turn inspired others to elevate their work. Kate shows admiration for his capacity to maintain concentration, although the film faced ongoing media attention. The production team benefited from his leadership style, which maintained the project under control. The social challenges that come with fame affected Leonardo, just like it does with other famous people. People needed to use diplomatic skills while they formed friendships and alliances and dealt with rivalries in this situation. Kate describes his behavior during filming as he limited his social interactions to a few people and appeared distant because he wanted to protect himself. People misunderstood his behavior because they thought he was being distant, but he used it as a way to keep his power for the creative work of the project. Their shared trials and emerging understanding would soon deepen, hinting at the complexity beneath the glitz and glamour of the Titanic phenomenon. Kate's personal reflections. Over the years, Kate Winslet has grown increasingly candid about her experiences working alongside Leonardo DiCaprio on Titanic, offering a layered view of their relationship that blends admiration with honest nuance. Initially, she saw Leonardo as intensely focused, but somewhat reserved, a young man navigating fame and pressure with a guarded demeanor. As filming progressed, Kate began to recognize the depth beneath his quiet exterior, a complexity that resonated with her own evolving understanding of the craft. Their connection, once strictly professional, slowly revealed the vulnerabilities that shaped their performances and interactions. Kate has described Leonardo as fiercely dedicated, driven by a passion for authenticity that sometimes made him seem distant or intense off-camera. She came to appreciate how seriously he took the story they were telling, seeing his commitment as a reflection of both artistic integrity and personal sensitivity. At times, Kate found this combination challenging, but ultimately inspiring, noting that his earnestness pushed her to elevate her own work. Their shared devotion to the roles of Jack and Rose created a bridge between differing temperaments that deepened with time. Reflecting back, Kate also acknowledges moments when Leonardo's insecurities quietly surfaced, masked by focus but still perceptible to someone paying close attention. She recalls that while he maintained a poised public image, behind the scenes, there were times he wrestled with the immense expectations placed on him. This vulnerability didn't diminish his professionalism. In fact, it fueled his drive to perform to the highest standard. For Kate, witnessing this balance between strength and fragility was a defining aspect of their rapport. The actress has also spoken about how their personal dynamics evolved as they spent long hours together, often in emotionally heavy scenes. They negotiated differing communication styles. Leonardo's introspection versus Kate's outspoken energy, finding common ground through mutual respect. This growing understanding allowed them to trust one another creatively, lending credibility and emotional weight to their iconic on-screen relationship. Kate credits this evolution with helping both of them deliver authentic, heartfelt performances. Kate values how Leonardo's intense nature was misinterpreted by people who did not work with him because his colleagues recognized him as a thoughtful and generous person. He has demonstrated his ability to use personal experiences as inspiration for his work while maintaining his focus on broader artistic achievements. She remembers times when he would visit her office to check on her well-being because he showed sensitivity that contradicted his public image. The quiet kindness which he displayed created an environment which allowed people to work together effectively, even while facing demanding situations. Kate maintained her recognition of Leonardo's skills and work ethic throughout all production challenges, which typically occur in high-pressure situations. She has stated that their professional relationship needed both their character differences and work commitments to achieve storytelling goals. Their decision to compromise between their different ideas helped their performances while establishing a lasting bond between them, which continued after their work ended. Kate shows through her thoughts that Hollywood presents a glamorous image, which hides true, essential human connections. Kate later revealed in her interviews that fans believed she had tension with him, which actually overstated their relationship problems because the media needed to create entertaining stories. Instead, she shows two artists who work together through their relationship, which develops under extraordinary circumstances. She values their friendship because it brought emotional richness to their performances, which created everlasting appeal for the film. As these personal insights deepen, lesser-known moments from the set, offer a fuller picture of the dynamic between Kate and Leonardo, revealing how laughter, tension, and collaboration wove themselves into their daily lives. Behind-the-scenes anecdotes. While the public often sees the polished final product, the filming of Titanic was filled with off-camera moments that shed light on the real relationship between Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. Despite their initial reserve, the two shared spontaneous laughs and candid conversations that softened the intensity of the production. Crew members have recalled how both stars could be surprisingly playful when the cameras weren't rolling, breaking the tension inherent in such a massive shoot. These glimpses of levity helped balance the emotional weight carried by the story. On one occasion, Leonardo is said to have lightened the mood by joking about the endless costume changes, which could take hours each day. Kate remembers moments like these as essential for keeping spirits up, small acts of humor that created an unspoken bond amid the grueling schedule. These shared instances of normalcy amid chaos helped humanize their working relationship and reminded everyone involved that behind the grandeur was a team striving together. This balance of serious work with lightheartedness was essential to their survival on set. From behind the scenes, there are stories of Leonardo exhibiting an unexpectedly shy or awkward side, particularly early in filming. Colleagues observed his reluctance to engage in large social gatherings, preferring one-on-one conversations or quiet moments. Kate's own outgoing nature sometimes contrasted with this, but over time, she came to respect Leonardo's more introverted approach. These anecdotes highlight how their differing personalities initially made for a complicated but ultimately complementary partnership. The long hours on set sometimes led to moments of exhaustion that tested even the most enthusiastic cast members. Kate has recalled how Leonardo would occasionally find brief escapes, whether retreating to quiet corners or immersing himself in music. These moments were necessary for maintaining focus when the emotional weight of the material became overwhelming. Such glimpses behind the scenes reveal the private efforts Leonardo undertook to balance professionalism with self-care, a side rarely portrayed in the media. There were also instances where the two stars found themselves needing to step up not only as actors, but as informal leaders. With a large cast and massive crew, Leonardo and Kate often helped mediate tensions or support fellow performers struggling with the pressure. Kate has praised Leonardo's capacity to remain calm under stress, even when he appeared reserved. These actions contributed to a collaborative atmosphere that kept the production moving forward despite inevitable challenges. One particularly telling anecdote involves a scene where unexpected weather conditions threatened to delay shooting. Leonardo reportedly took the initiative to keep the mood positive, reassuring cast and crew that their hard work would pay off. Kate recalls that moments like these showcased his quiet but impactful leadership, balancing seriousness with encouragement. This behind-the-scenes glimpse contrasts with the sometimes chilly public image he had, revealing his care for the people around him. This nuanced relationship became even more complicated once the public's imagination clashed with the reality of their on-set experience. Media portrayal versus reality. When Titanic was released, the media frenzy surrounding Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio was nearly as intense as the movie's box office success. Rumors of a behind-the-scenes romance circulated wildly, fueled by their undeniable on-screen chemistry and frequent public appearances together. Tabloids painted a picture of an off-screen love story filled with passionate moments and personal drama, an image that captivated fans but bore little resemblance to the truth. Kate has since spoken candidly about how these exaggerated narratives often blurred reality, overshadowing the complex professional relationship they actually shared. The constant media spotlight created an environment where every glance and interaction was dissected and sensationalized, often distorting the genuine dynamics between the two actors. Kate has expressed frustration at how their working partnership was reduced to gossip columns and speculative headlines rather than thoughtful discussion about their craft. This disconnect between public perception and actual experience added another layer of stress during an already demanding production. Leonardo, too, was navigating the challenges of managing his privacy and public persona while remaining focused on his work. Despite the rumors, Kate has been clear that their relationship on set was rooted in mutual respect and professionalism, not the steamy romance the media projected. She has described their connection as complicated, defined by shared artistic goals rather than personal entanglements. This nuanced reality included moments of tension, camaraderie, and creative collaboration, but rarely aligned with the simplistic narratives fed to the press. Their many hours working intimately together inevitably sparked curiosity, but it was their commitment to performance that truly drove their interactions. The media portrayal of Hollywood relationships between co-stars shows people how to display their romantic relationships. Kate condemned this cultural trend because it transforms real human relationships into commercialized caricatures. Both actors had to deal with three different types of pressures, which included their heavy workload and fan behavior and gossip and public attacks. The story showed how public perception of celebrities exists between two extreme points, which represent complete falsehood and absolute reality. Kate explained how the misrepresentation affected her because it created difficulties for her to establish professional boundaries. She experienced constant public scrutiny, which interrupted her professional work, and both actors dedicated to their roles in Titanic. Public figures encounter these kinds of stories according to her understanding. Kate decided to stay with her genuine relationship because they created together through their shared time away from public view. Leonardo used a balanced method to manage his media coverage because he chose to stay away from public appearances, which helped him protect his personal life and professional work. He maintained project involvement while establishing necessary distance from everything, which Kate found impressive. The professional and personal challenges they faced during and after Titanic profoundly influenced their futures, shaping not only their careers, but also their approaches to fame and friendship. Lasting impact on careers. Titanic marked a pivotal moment for both Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, launching them into the stratosphere of international stardom and redefining their professional trajectories. The film's unprecedented success established them as top-tier actors with enormous box office appeal. However, this rapid rise came with its own set of challenges, as they had to navigate newfound fame without losing their grounding or compromising their artistic ambitions. Both actors have spoken about how the experience tested their resolve and shaped their decisions going forward. For Leonardo, Titanic was a breakthrough that propelled him beyond teen idol status to a respected leading man. He became acutely aware of the scrutiny that came with such visibility and worked deliberately to choose roles that showcased his range and depth. His commitment to serious, varied projects after Titanic demonstrated a desire to avoid typecasting and maintain credibility. The intensity of filming Titanic, combined with the media attention it sparked, taught him the importance of balancing privacy with public life, a lesson he carried into a long and diverse career. Kate Winslet similarly benefited from the career-defining role of Rose, which opened doors to more complex and challenging parts. Titanic's global reach amplified her profile, enabling her to collaborate with acclaimed directors and explore emotionally demanding characters. The film also reinforced her belief in maintaining authenticity in her work, a principle she credits in part to the unique experience she shared with Leonardo on set. Kate's career trajectory reflects a careful navigation of mainstream appeal and artistic integrity fostered during that formative period. The actors encountered their most challenging work because they had to meet the enormous demands which Titanic established for their future films. The actors wanted to prevent becoming known for their film roles, so they chose parts which demonstrated their developing skills throughout various projects. Their public image suffered from complete identification with Jack and Rose because they needed to create distance from their work to prevent losing career momentum. The experience taught me that professional success requires people to learn how to adapt to change and develop their ability to bounce back from challenges. Their partnership on Titanic created a lasting effect on their public image. The legendary romantic tale established them as an enduring Hollywood couple whom viewers have adored throughout history. The legacy required them to manage two opposing forces, which included their supporters' love for them and their need to protect their personal space. The two actors established better methods for managing their legacy because they demonstrated respect for their previous work while developing themselves as individuals. The relationships that they established with filmmakers and their fellow actors during Titanic contributed to shaping their professional development. James Cameron's guidance and the friendship which developed among colleagues during filming created a platform which helped him to build his confidence and develop his career. Kate and Leonardo have each credited that environment with pushing them to perform at their best, an experience that shaped their work ethic. Their industry connections established their professional reputation, which extended beyond their status as mere celebrities. The story behind the camera remains as compelling as the one immortalized on screen: reconciliation and current views. Decades after Titanic's release, Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio have shared a relationship defined more by mutual respect and friendship than by the rumors that once surrounded them. Kate has reflected openly on how their connection has matured over time, moving beyond the pressures and misunderstandings of the filming period. They've both acknowledged that the intense experience they shared created a lasting bond, one that has grown stronger as their careers and lives have evolved. This reconciliation speaks to the deeper humanity behind their public personas. Kate has often mentioned that any early tensions or guardedness were natural reactions to the extraordinary circumstances they faced as young actors thrust into the spotlight. With the benefit of hindsight, she sees those moments as part of a learning curve rather than something damaging. Leonardo, too, has spoken warmly of Kate in interviews, highlighting the trust and creative synergy that continues to define their relationship. Their ability to revisit Titanic's legacy with affection and grace reflects a shared understanding forged through respect and empathy. The pair have reunited professionally several times, demonstrating how their chemistry and friendship have endured beyond Titanic. Whether collaborating on charitable events or advocating jointly for causes important to them, they show a comfortable camaraderie that resonates with fans. Their on-screen reunion in films like Revolutionary Road also highlighted how their personal connection enhances their work together. These later collaborations are marked less by youthful intensity and more by a confident, mature partnership. Kate has described Leonardo as a treasured friend and creative peer, praising his dedication and authenticity. She has said that knowing him personally changed how she views their joint history, replacing speculation with a profound appreciation for his character. Leonardo has identified Kate as a person who demonstrates her strength together with her kindness, which enabled both their work relationship and personal friendship to succeed. Their warm regard for each other continues to grow, grounded far beyond the shadows cast by media stories. They have sometimes discussed how their common experience contributed to their individual development, because they found that their joint experience of fame brought them both strength and understanding. Kate reflects on the importance of having a trusted partner during such formative moments, recognizing that Leonardo offered that support in ways outsiders never saw. The mutual grounding between them allowed both parties to stay true to themselves while coping with the difficulties that come with being famous. Their story combines personal development with their achievements in their professional careers. Kate Winslet's recent insights reveal a deeper, more complex story behind Titanic's legendary duo, one of respect, growth, and genuine connection beyond the spotlight. As we uncover the truth behind the on-set dynamics, it's clear that their experience was as transformative personally as it was professionally. If you enjoyed this glimpse behind the scenes, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from Hollywood's most iconic moments.